The governor's office does not recommend you play football. The governor's office does not recommend that you play soccer, but go for it. You want to play, go for it. And then minutes later, the MHSAA says, starting on September 8th, that's a Tuesday, teams can practice. And then on the 10th, they can practice in pads. And Zach, you said football 2 weeks from tomorrow, the 18th, the MHSAA's guideline says pick up with week 4. That puts football back on our radar, and it's just so hard to process. Look, we're pro football on this podcast without question, but the knee-jerk reaction, I mean, Zach, go back to the first week of August when they were like, hey, full steam ahead. 2 weeks later, the MHSAA was like, oh, I don't know, man. And then they were like, hey, we're going to have to cancel it. And then now they're like, hey, the governor's screwing things up. And then today they're like, hey, football. And it's like that all happened in 30 days, dude.
Oh, yeah. This has been a whiplash. I mean, I'm going nuts over here, and we're just doing a podcast. Imagine being a kid and having to, just the ups and downs of this has been just mind-boggling. But the announcements from the governor yesterday felt like a really big letdown because I think we thought we were going to get more information. And now today, as we hear that the recommendation is to not play football, but if you want to play football, go for it, basically, is what it seems like. And this really just makes me think, like, if that's the case, this was never the governor's decision. And when you talked about that, Zach, before, you said, this is the MHSAA making this decision ultimately. And I don't know if they just weren't expecting the backlash that they got. And then, it seemed like the governor for a brief period of time was being used as the scapegoat. And, you had the governor saying she wasn't going to be bullied into making a decision. The march that happened last week.
Do you think the march worked? Do you think the march worked?
If I'm a kid and I'm a parent, I think the march worked. I mean, that's my mindset, and good for them. I mean, I think that's great. I am happy for them. The people who marched, ultimately, what they were marching for is happening.